So this is, I guess, kind of going to be my introduction into a lot more Magic content on this channel. I'm thinking that the subject of the first actual MTG podcast is going to be something that is being touched on in this video. But so just so you know, I want to be very clear. You cannot expect this to be the normal MTG content. I really don't like ripping content straight from other people's channels, and that's what I'm doing today. You're going to see a clip from the Command Zone, which is an incredible channel, and I want to mention them because they have tutored me a lot in the past, as well as friends who know a lot more about the game than me. But they have tutored me in this game a lot in the past, and I really appreciate that. So I do want to, for anyone who doesn't know, I want to show the Command Zone. And I needed more time. Like, I don't have a lot of time to make a video right now, so it's a good time for me to show a clip from Command Zone. And I might show little clips before if, like, they say something, and I don't want to just rip their words from them without giving them credit, so I might just play a clip of how they word something in the future, especially with some of the podcasts that I do whenever I'm trying to make a point and they've made it better than I have. But I'm not just going to straight rip clips like I am today from their channel ever again, and I apologize. I don't like doing this, but I just wanted to, I wanted to show this particular clip because of two reasons. One, the video that this clip comes from is actually really good, and if you are an experienced or new MTG player, I think it would be helpful. It's very helpful to me. Watching it has been. It's the video called Ways, something along, well, Cards You're Playing Wrong. There it is. Sorry, I have it pulled up. So, Cards You're Playing Wrong, Command Zone. It's actually very helpful because there's some things that I hadn't considered in here, and a lot of it I already knew or I've run into issues with in the past, and I've overcome it because I am an experienced Magic player and I've been playing it for a long time. But there's still some things in this video after playing this game for almost 10 years that I didn't think about. So, and the biggest of which is the one I'm going to show in this clip, especially when it comes to Commander games. There's just the concept of, it's something that I've known about, the concept that in a Commander game, there are not just, there's all your resources, you know, you have mana and you have creatures and enchantments and all those sort of things, like board presence, all these resources at your disposal that can give you win conditions. And then, of course, there's also the saying, of course, that life is a resource, which it is, and it's even more so in Commander because you have 40 life total instead of 20. But there's kind of another resource that doesn't have a measurement, really, that's going on beneath all of that in Commander, and it's one I commonly forget about, even though I know it's there, which is just, how do I put this? So I can't find a better word for it, so I'm just going to call it the currency of attention, even though it's not perfectly an apt word to describe what I'm talking about. But essentially, it's just, if you've played Commander, I'm sure you know this, it's the idea that the more dangerous of a board state you create, the more everyone turns their heads towards you, and you draw the attention of other players in a negative way. So if you have the most powerful board state, most likely you're the enemy and everyone else is their teammates until you're dealt with, until the three others, the 3 plus or minus, you know, however many players you're playing with, until the other players have dealt with the biggest threat and they no longer have to worry about an immediate death from you. That's kind of a resource. It sounds weird for me to call that a resource, but it is, because it's manipulatable. Because depending upon how you play your hand and play your game state, you can purposely fly under the radar and make sure that you don't grab too much attention throughout the game, and make sure that other people can get those such, you know, said attention board states, attention grabbing board states that are very dangerous, and you can be the one to helps them out and helps everyone else out, I mean, taking down this person, and then all of a sudden you start to play your hand and you explode and you become the biggest threat, and hopefully by the time you do that, you reach a board state where no one else can compete with you and you win the game. That's a win strategy that is actually very common, and they'll mention that in the clip I'm going to show. It's one of the better win tactics, is just manipulate your board state to make it look like you are not the threat, so that you can wait until either the threat is taken care of and you are the dominating force left standing, or you can take care of it and everyone else yourself because you've been playing your cards right and holding back just the right amount. It's not the only way to win, but it's an interesting concept that I just hadn't thought about this specific aspect of it before. When it comes to mana ramping and artifact ramping, I had not thought about it before, and I think that Command Zone, I think that they make a very good point of it. So I'm going to let the clip roll, and then that'll be it for today's video. And I do think that the first podcast episode will be about this resource of attention, if I can figure out a better way to talk about it. Like, it's, again, attention is not an apt word for what I'm thinking of. So if I can think of another one, I'll do that. If not, I'll make the first podcast about something else, and hopefully I can figure out a better way to talk about this in the future. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. And enjoy the clip of Josh Lee Kwai and Jimmy Wong, the main hosts of Command Zone. Also, really quick, before I do play it, check out Game Nights. It's actually very entertaining. Also a great way to learn about some things that can happen in Magic games, in actual Magic games. It's just, Game Nights is the thing they do on the Command Zone where they play Commander games with a lot of guests, and it's a really fun experience. Speaking of which, if you want to see some Commander games on this channel, I might be able to make that happen one day. I don't have the resources to do it right now, and also I would have to clear that with all my friends, and I really don't want to put people on camera if they're even remotely uncomfortable with it. So I don't know when that could happen, but if you're interested in being in it, if you don't have a problem with being on camera and you want to volunteer to be a part of a Commander game, that would be awesome. Or if I get to it, if I can clear it with everyone and I get a little bit better, camera setup and everything to get different angles of everything, then I'll do that, because I really would like to do that. I just don't have the resources to do it right now, but I will do it right now. I'll pull out one of my old webcams and just have a 2-angle shot just to start out with, and do it right now. If any of you guys want to join in and you want to volunteer to be a part of the Commander games, because again, that's the other big problem, is I want to make sure that people are comfortable in front of the camera. And if I ask someone if they want to, be a part of a video, and I detect the slightest bit of uncomfortability with their voice or their answer, regardless of if they say yes, I really don't like to record that person. So that's just a standard that I set. I don't think that anyone should step in front of a camera unless they really want to. And that's why I am asking you guys, because I don't think that all my friends would be good with doing that. So my current play group would probably not want our sessions to be recorded. Okay, now on to the clip.
And it's actually something that I think...
Oh, wait. Before we get to that, there's one more. We skipped it.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's not on the thing, because we know what they do. I think also in this category of don't play until you can use cards are Mana Crypt and Soul Ring.
Yes, Mana Crypt on turn 1, if you're not planning on instantly using it to pop out 2 other mana rocks or get a card out early, is going to probably Craig Blanchett kill you over the course of the game if you're not careful. Well, you can't predict it, right, because it's a coin flip. But a lot of times I've seen people just playing it out, and that's the worst, right? Turn 1 Soul Ring, everyone's like, oh shoot, there it goes. Turn 2, 1 drop, 2 drop. It's like, wait, you're not using all that extra mana? Why'd you even play the Mana Crypt out? And now it's just going to potentially lightning bolt you every turn.
And it also puts a target on you, right? Like, I'm way more likely to attack the Mana Crypt player than I am to attack somebody who doesn't have a Mana Crypt turn 1 or 2. And in fact, we did those stats episodes a couple years ago now, and we found something that I think was counterintuitive at the time, but has become more clear to me as probably correct over time, is that a turn 1 through 3 Soul Ring or Mana Crypt actually lowers your win percentage,
right?
Because you become the perceived threat earlier in the game than the other players are. And you don't, I think the best way to win games of Commander, and we get people on our Discord or email, Twitter and stuff, will often sort of contact us and say things like, I just can't seem to win games, or I've stopped winning games, or I haven't won in a long time. And I don't want to build a competitive EDH deck, but like, what's something I'm doing wrong? And usually the thing we'll tell them is like, you're probably becoming the threat too early in the game. The best, easiest way to win games of Commander, and I will default to this strategy when I really want to get a win, which is just keep your head low. Just don't appear powerful.
Don't be too flashy.
Don't be, and think of the last game nights, the Streets of
Ned,
Japan
yeah.
one. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but Ned loses a land early. He's down on red. He doesn't look scary. He's well behind the other players, and of course he ends up winning in the end. And that's because that position is very strong because no one's looking at you.
Yeah, and also people are even like willing to like do you some favors, cut some deals with you or whatever.
They feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have Soul Ring and Mana Crypt early, you can become the default target. And so unless you can take advantage of those things, and we're not saying necessarily hold them if you could spend the mana.
Yeah.
But unless you can, I think it's often correct to just wait, because a Soul Ring you play on turn 4 or 3,
Still
you're probably not
pretty
holding
good.
it that long. But
It's also
yeah,
still great. You're still mana positive, and Mana Crypt, by the way, is 0 mana, so you can really play it whenever you want.
I've had games where I have an Arcane Signet in my hand and a Soul Ring in my hand, and I hold the Soul Ring and I go, turn 2 Arcane Signet, don't do anything, and turn 3, oh, look, I pretend I drew my Soul Ring, and it's somehow just not, it doesn't like bleep on the radar the same amount as if I turn it turn one into Arcane Signet turn 1. You know, I find that I win very few of those games where I go land, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, and I win a lot more of the games where I go land, Arcane Signet, turn 3, Soul Ring, cast something. I've still gotten a lot out of it. Not maximum amount, but I'm not as scary.
Yeah, and again, this applies to what your meta is. If you need to play that out in turn 1 to win or to even stand a chance, then you should. But
try sandbagging it a little. I bet you'll be surprised with the results. It feels bad. You'll feel like, okay, I lost, 3, maybe 4 mana in the early turns. But sometimes it's easily made up by the fact that you just they're looking at somebody else and worried about somebody else and not you.
Yep, and again, Soul Ring is mana positive, so even if you play it on a later turn, you're gaining mana as a result.
Yeah, Crypt's mana positive too.
Yeah, Crypt's definitely mana positive.
Okay, now on to the new card we were about to talk about.
Yeah,